So our next speaker, I think is well known to a lot of you. Brent is the president of Blenco Systems from America. They're a worldwide provider of car wash chemicals and products. He's passionate about the science and the research behind the products that he supplies. And what he's going to try and give to you today is an X-ray vision, so that you get a superpowers to help you understand what these chemicals are all about, which ones should you be using for which part of the wash, what will they actually do, why it's best to have this one than that one, so that you can make better decisions to achieve the absolute top perfection in terms of the wash quality that you're giving to your customers. Brent?
Hello, everybody. Whoa, that's a little loud. Okay, so we're here to talk about chemistry. We're going to bequeath on you some superpowers today. I've got, is there somebody here that can help me pass out some little gifts for during the, are you able to pass these out for me? We've got, if you want a pair of sunglasses, this is part of the talk. So put your hand up and we'll pass these out to you as a helper here. To go forward a slide, what do I do? Do I just? Yes. Okay, cool. Okay. So the first thing is that each of us comes into this room with some chemical powers already. They probably vary quite a bit. Perhaps some of you have been in the industry for 30, 40, 50 years. Perhaps some people have been in for just a few months. So we could start out by saying, well, what are your superpowers now? Do you know about pH, maybe the difference between pH and alkalinity? Is titration a normal thing for you? So do you know what titration is? Do you do it in your washes today? Maybe you say, listen, I don't know about pH, I don't know about titration, but I have been in this industry for a long time and I know performance. I can look at a wax or a clear coat or a detergent and I can tell you whether it's going to work or not. Or perhaps you say, listen, I buy from somebody who's been a leader in this industry for years, and I trust them. I know they're giving me the best stuff. So we all come with those kinds of potential powers. But special for you today, we're going to actually take whatever your power is now, and we're going to increase it. We're going to give you some superpowers today. And what we're handing out here are actually, they look like just ordinary promotional glasses, but these are actually going to bequeath upon you superpowers to see things that you couldn't see before. Okay, so before you put on your X-ray vision glasses, as you look at a drum of detergent or a drum of clear coat and wax, all you see is the drum. You don't get to see, you can't tell whether the detergent on the left side is full of goodies or full of water, or what the goodies are, how it compares to what normally would be. You simply see a drum of wax or a drum of detergent. So, I brought this, I think in the spirit of Halloween. I probably won't put this on. I know you guys would enjoy that. Well, maybe I will, okay? Okay. I'm feeling super powerful. Now, I just want you to think for a second, as I sat in my hotel room and I unloaded my bag, what do you think my cleaning person thought when they saw that sitting in my room? It didn't really occur to me until later that they must have thought I was some kind of American freak. But that's what I'm willing to take on for you guys here today. So, if you will, put on your X-ray glasses. And now, when you look at the detergent and the wax, you are bestowed with power to see what's inside of these. And let's focus on the detergent now and break down what it is we're looking at. We'll talk a little about the key components here. The first thing is at the bottom you can see the biggest component in this case is an alkaline detergent. Now this alkaline detergent could be a low pH, but in this case, in the alkaline form, it's a high pH. And that alkaline detergent, we'll talk about a little bit more what that is. Another major component is a surfactant. And a surfactant makes water wetter. That sounds crazy, but we'll demonstrate what that means. And then you have things like couplers and binders, dye, fragrances, all kinds of helper additives. So let's break down the 3 key components. So what does a solvent do for you? A solvent is a chemical ingredient that actually helps remove soils that are soluble in solvent conditions. We'll show an example of that in a bit. A surfactant, I already mentioned, makes water wetter. It helps the detergent stick to the vehicle's sides and surfaces and wheels. And then your pH, or your alkalinity in this case, is the strength of the detergent that provides the base of cleaning. So let's focus on each of those just a bit. The solvent action, we might imagine, in this case, we've got sort of and it doesn't probably show that well, but a before of a sticky leftover tape situation. You know, some kind of, if you ever tried to clean old tape off of something, you can rub all you want with water or detergent, it doesn't come off. You put a little solvent on it, and afterwards it's cleaned. So that's the kind of action. Solvents are going after soils that are soluble in a solvent environment. So this idea of making water wetter, you might be interested in that. You say, well, I go in the shower, I get plenty wet, right? But unlike your body, when you put water on a vehicle, the vehicle is going to have some repelling nature to that solution. So you ask yourself, well, look at the cleaning area on the left side of the bead before surfactant's added. Very, very small contact space with the surface, right? If you add surfactant to water, you get the bead effect that's shown on the right side, and the bead contacts much more of the surface area on the vehicle. So we need that surfactant to make water wetter, to create more dwell time between the cleaning solution and the vehicle. And those surfactants bestowed upon you with your glasses and this knowledge come in a lot of different forms. They come with positive charges. They can come with negative charges. They can come with more neutral charges. But the problem is that the most common form of these surfactants actually have a negative charge. We'll hang on to that thought, and we'll talk about that a bit more. The last area is the pH, or in this case, the alkaline nature of the solution. And the way that you can measure the alkalinity as opposed to the pH, which we want to focus on measuring alkalinity, and we'll tell you that in a little bit, or doing a titration on the acidity, is using a titration. And basically all a titration is a way to measure the quantity of soap present. So think about that for a second. You're measuring the quantity. So wouldn't that be a nice tool for you to have if you go back to the drum where you didn't know what was in there until you put your glasses on? As you put the glasses on and can use tools like titration, you can actually determine for yourself what the quantity of chemical is present in a container without the need for X-ray vision. So a titration works where you add an indicator to the detergent solution. You titrate using a titrant solution appropriate for the pH of that product. And when the color change occurs, you add an indicator. When the color changes, you know that you've measured the quantity of soap present. So in this case, you can see that the quantity of soap resulted in a 20-drop titration. A 20-drop titration would be a detergent with twice as much quantity of soap present as a 10-drop. Okay? So I don't want to send you into any kind of spasm thinking about your high school chemistry and the bad feelings you had there, but we'll give you a very easy to digest chemistry lesson. As you look at the pH scale, on the left side you have acidic conditions. On the right scale you have alkaline conditions. And let's talk about the appropriateness of those types of detergents in various cleaning situations. It's very common going into, say, an automatic car wash to do what we call two-step cleaning. And most common in two-step cleaning is a low pH is applied, followed by a pass or two of an alkaline pre-soak. Okay? So let's talk about what we're doing when we put on and what we're cleaning when we clean in acid conditions. Acid cleaning is more of a specialty cleaning function. Okay? So the workhorse detergents that are present in our industry are typically alkaline pre-soaks. Examples are self-serve tire and wheel, self-serve foam brush, self-serve pre-soak, self-serve high-pressure detergent. In the automatic world, we're talking about typically the alkaline pre-soak step. So the acid kind of is a specialty function. So what do we clean with that? We clean things like mineral scale, which comes from solubilized minerals on the road surfaces, and things like rust and fallout. So the low pH product is being applied on your automatic to eliminate those types of things. The pro of that is low pH detergents are relatively inexpensive, and they enhance or affect drying and clear coat deposit in a positive way. So low pH, you want a low pH environment when you're applying your clear coats and drying agents. The con of acids could be that you're not going to clean as many detergents, as many soils, sorry, because it's more of a specialized cleaning range. And if you exceed certain strengths or normal recommended levels, you can actually have a corrosive situation with acidic cleaners. Okay, so let's go to the alkaline side. On the alkaline side, this is the workhorse range of detergency, and it makes sense in your own home cleaning. You use a lot of alkaline detergents when you wash dishes in your automatic dishwasher or when you wash your clothes. So alkaline detergents go after things like bugs, soils that you're most commonly referred to seeing, clays, oils, road film to some extent. Some of the road film might be fallout that happens on the acid side. The advantages of a high alkaline detergent is that it's got a great range of detergency as shown by the items listed. It's relatively soft and gentle, so you're not going to get, it's typically in the usage range, it's not as corrosive or aggressive as some of the acids can be. But a big negative is that it can reduce shine and affect drying when you have residual amounts of it left on the vehicle. So let me bestow upon you again your superpowers so you can see what's inside of these containers. So place your glasses on for your X-ray vision. And we'll take you through an example of what exists out there. Now you can see inside these various unknown detergents and see that the industry, and I think this is obvious, does not offer a uniform and consistent level necessarily of quality. So for example, if you are buying detergent A, I see in detergent A, with my X-ray powers, I see an appropriate amount of detergency in the alkaline detergent. I see an appropriate amount of surfactant and solvent. And I say that detergent's, say, a quality detergent. Now, I will point out something that I probably missed in the first place is notice how much water is present in all of these alkaline detergents. And this is what lends, in a lot of cases, to people doing a two-part detergent approach. The issue has to do with the solubility and compatibility of detergents like alkaline builders and surfactants. These examples aren't of anybody cheating somebody. They're just really highlighting the limits of the solubility and compatibility of the ingredients that are in alkaline detergents. But given that that's a fact, note that relative to the amount of detergent present in detergent C, you're getting a much better buy with detergent A. And so as we think about how you might use this information out in your car washes, you can begin to be able to compare the strength of A and C as you learn things like your titration, as you learn what a surfactant does, and you learn, well, if I'm not getting foam and wetting, I must be low in that component. So this aids you in some way in your buying decisions. So lastly, in the cleaning or in the detergent category, we want to remember or summarize that alkaline detergents are the ideal pick for most cleaning applications. It raises the pH, removes oil and grease, cuts the bond between the dirt and the car. Alkaline detergents can, though, however, be formulated with products like anionic surfactants, which impede drying and waxing, so you need to be aware of that with the pH of your ending vehicle. And if you think, well, I'll fix that by just using low pH, keep in mind that low pH detergents are limited in their cleaning range. So a superpower view, if we beam in, if you think about it, the only thing that matters in cleaning and protectancy is that tiny little world between the surface of the vehicle and the end of the solution that's applied to it. We're talking about a film of solution that is very, very tiny, but the entire world of detergency and protectancy is occurring in that space. So let's go through 3 examples. The first is a situation where we have an ending pH that's too high. So we've got an ending pH that's too high, And as the wax, designated by the little yellow drops, come on, the alkaline nature of this surface solution actually eats up that wax and keeps it and prevents it from forming a nice protective film. In the second situation, we perhaps managed to get the high pH product off of the vehicle surface, but we neglected to get the negative anionic charge on the surfactant used. In that case, again, the wax goes to get applied, and the wax actually creates a combination and really what's happening is the waxes are designed with a positive charge, designed to go on the negative charge of your vehicle. The anionic nature of that surfactant has a negative charge, so basically we get a bond that occurs in the solution rather than on the surface of the vehicle. In the third case, we have the ideal situation. We have the right pH, we have the right charge left over on that surface of water, and we get a nice, big, durable build on our clear coat, or we get a nice drying performance from our drying agent. So maybe those pictures help you think about at your wash what you're doing and what kind of results you're getting because of some of these factors. So this is an ironic thing that I can now summarize and point out, which is, let's just say your approach at your wash is, I don't care what it costs, I'm gonna clean at all costs, I'm gonna put on the strongest possible alkaline pre-soak. The irony of that situation is that as you try to drive a better clean, you actually have an offsetting factor of affecting your potential drying and shine. So we've got some important decisions to make given that. To help with that, we mentioned it earlier, but pH can be key. We want to end with something slightly on the more acidic side than neutral for the best shine and dry. How do you do that? How do you achieve that? Well, an obvious way is you could add acid somewhere after your alkaline pass. Another obvious thing would be to rinse thoroughly all of your alkaline off. Another way is on your mitters or wraps, if you have a friction wash or a friction tunnel, is you can add products that are low in pH. You can also use tricolor conditioners that are true conditioners. If you think about tricolor products, we sometimes lose sight of the fact that tricolors are not just about marketing. They're not just about selling a higher dollar wash. They actually condition the surface of the vehicle, and conditioning means lowering the pH and affecting the charge on the surfactant residual. So we can use tricolors that are appropriate and functional rather than tricolors that are just simply foaming products. And we can, some tricolors add another feature, which is they have a wax initiators, which means they actually have a little bit of wax and the charge that helps. So as an operator, you're saying, wow, decisions, what am I going to do? I understand some of Brent's talk, but I'm not totally sure that I know enough. I'm not totally sure that I can have my superpower glasses on all the time. So what you need to do is you need to find the right friend. You need to find the right partner. You need to ask the right questions. You need to use the right supplier. Find somebody who can answer questions about pH, about alkalinity, about anionic charges. And luckily, the talented distributors that are out there, the best of the best, can help you answer some of those questions. Okay, so now we talked a lot about detergency. Let's look inside a drum of clear coat and focus on the key ingredients at the bottom of that drum. We have a list of polymer or wax ingredients that are there. They can occur in many different forms, many different qualities. And then we have a whole host of helper chemistry, things like fragrances, colors, foamers. And more importantly, when you want to begin to make decisions about the quality of those waxes and protectants and drying agents, you can actually resort to a very simple approach of trialing this for yourself. So this is just a possible recommendation. What you can see is I have a car panel here. There's been a piece of black tape applied between two sides of it. You can do this right down the middle of a test vehicle. So take your own car, your wife's car, your rental car, whatever you want, your company car, and you can put a piece of tape down the middle, and you can actually apply on one side a wax or protectant or drying agent, and on the other side, one that you're comparing it to. Now, the problem with this methodology is you're a little bit limited. You can't go out and test the entire industry's range of products. You're sort of left with a sample size that represents what's practical and on hand. What you would do if you wanted to do this is, I would recommend the first thing you'd want to do is clean off any residual wax with a high pH alkaline detergent. So in effect, you're going to wash the surface of the vehicle and you're going to take off a previous layer of clear coat or wax that's on there, or drying agent. And after you've done that, you're going to apply a very heavy rinse. You want to make sure you get off all the high pH. You want to make sure you get off all the anionic surfactant. And then you're going to apply your product on one side and on the other side, quickly rinse and observe. And I think you'd be really surprised as you did this, as you experiment with this, to see that there's a major difference in break. There's a major difference in even the nature of the break. Some products bead up. Some products sheet. Some products sheet in rivulets. Some products sheet as a whole bead. So it's quite a simple way that you can take your superpowers that you're getting at this trade show and put them to use in your own wash and evaluate two potential competing products for an application. So in summary, what you might learn with your ability and your superpowers is that as you go around the trade show, as you operate in your wash, and as drums of chemical come in, it might help you to think about the ingredients that are inside of each of those and how they might compare very vastly from one drum to the next. And perhaps just knowing a little bit more about what to ask for will help you make wise buying decisions that drives growth in your business. So in summary, you might want to think about using titration. That's the measure of the quantity of soap present. It also, in the meantime, will tell you whether you have a low pH or high pH based on the indicator color change. Consider that you want to end with a low pH in the final stages of your washing, just a slightly low pH. We're just talking about something just to the left side of neutral. You want to ensure that your wax can build through the proper surfactant charges left on that vehicle. And you want to think about comparing the effect and durability of those protectants and drying agents in some at the wash type of testing. So that kind of summarizes my talk. I certainly am open to any questions that the audience might have about detergents and protectants.